Hey friends, welcome to Life Made Full. This podcast is centered around business, faith, and family, 3 areas that are dear to our heart. If you are a business owner in ministry, own a family business, or you have a family, join us today around our family table to discuss these topics and more.
And we're live.
Hey, welcome back to Life Made Full. As you can see, it's just 2 of us today, and Christy had her baby girl Saturday. Let's talk about that just for a second, Douglas. She had the baby. She was scheduled to go in a little bit earlier, but she had her at 11:59 p.m. Saturday night.
August 30th.
Yes, October
30th.
October 30th. October 30th. I can't. Well, it does feel like we still should be in August. So October 30th, the doctor asked her, said, "Okay, Christy, do you want this to be at 11:50? Do you want this to be a Halloween baby, or do you want it to be an October 30th baby?" And Christy's like, I don't know. And then her doctor said, "Or do you just want just let's do it and see how the chips fall?" And Christy's like, "Bingo, let's do that." So 11:59, Ocean Ava Jones came into the world and added to our family, my 5th grandbaby, my 2nd granddaughter. So we couldn't be happier. You got to see her today. What'd you think?
She's gorgeous.
I know, isn't she? Oh my gosh, listen to this. She weighed 8 pounds, 7 ounces. Yeah, 8 pounds, 7 ounces, 19 inches long. Head full of hair.
Yeah, I held her for a little over an hour. She didn't fuss one time.
Yeah, Christy said she's real calm. You know what I told her?
It's Malachi's.
No. I said, yeah, Jackson was real calm too in the beginning. Remember how calm he was?
Yeah, he's calming back down though. But
yeah, he is. Anyway, I was just being funny. All right, so we're going to open it up, which, as you know, we do not script anything. It's just kind of whatever comes to mind we talk about. But I do have a few notes if we go that way. I do have a few notes. But I told Doug that I was going to ask him a question today, and he's like, "Oh, Lord." So I will go first, but let the viewers get more familiar with us. So I was thinking that we could open it up with kind of like an icebreaker a little bit of 3 facts per se, something like that somebody might not know about you. So I want you to think about that.
Is this the one that you said?
Yeah.
How in the world am I gonna?
Yeah. 3. So you be thinking, and then I'm going to.
You said it was easy.
That is easy. 3 facts that the viewers might not know about you. Okay, let them get to know you a little bit more. But here's the thing: I'm gonna give you time to think about it because I'm gonna go first. See, but I've already had time to think about it, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Which, no, I really didn't. I promise you, I did not really think about it. Okay, so 3 things that you might not know about me. Number 1, you might laugh at this one. You better be thinking about yours. Number 1, I'm a paper hoarder. Would you agree with that?
A paper?
A paper hoarder.
Yeah.
I'm a paper hoarder. You know, it just dawned on me. I look at my desk. I look everywhere. I have paper everywhere. I'm always writing. And I have things from like 10 years ago. And I'm not talking about like notebooks. Yes, I have notebooks, but I'm talking about just sheets of paper. I don't know why I am. I'm a paper hoarder. That's number 1. Maybe a fact you don't know about me. Number 2, I have a twin brother named Mike. We are 6 minutes apart. I am older. I always tell him I am your older sister. So I don't let him forget that. So I am a twin, and his name is Mike. And the third thing, so let me think, the third thing. Oh, what third that somebody might not know about me? Oh, I know it. I know this one. third thing, when I was born, this one's pretty interesting. When I was born, my name was actual Diane. That's what Mom and Dad named me. And like 3 or 4 or 5, 6 weeks later, whatever it was, I don't remember that, my grandmother called my mom and said, oh, you've got to change her name. You've got to change her name to Micah. And my grandma saw it on a soap opera. I would love to know what soap opera she was watching, by the way. I've tried to do a search. I can't find it. She was watching a soap opera, and there was a lady on there named Micah. And so she called my mom and said, you got to change her name to Micah. So that's 3 things that's a little interesting about me that somebody might not know. So my name was not Micah from the beginning, which a little fun fact on the side note of that is what my name actually means. Do you know?
Nope.
You do not know.
No.
One who serves God. So.
Isn't that justice?
I don't know. Think about that. No, you can look it up. It is. Micah means one who serves God. So anyway, that's 3 things you didn't maybe know about me. So let's go, Doug.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. That's a rough question because I don't know, when you catch somebody off guard about facts about themselves, I guess, dude, this is hard. I don't know.
I know.
I don't have anything like no name changes. I guess when I was, I started off skateboarding, and I still do.
Oh, that's a good one. So you love skateboarding?
Yeah, but that's kind of what led to the work that I do now, the video work, because when we were 15 years old, 14, we were filming each other. And
that's true.
My friend had an old version of, obviously this was in the mid-2000s, so computers weren't very good. It was like a Windows 98 computer with an old Adobe Premiere software on it, which most people probably don't know what that is, but it was an old version of it, and we were just uploading literally cassette tapes, like the little tiny ones, onto the computer and editing skate videos. So that's kind of where
your journey started on your videography.
I took a little break after that, but and then that's how the interest started. So it started with skateboarding first. And
you think you could still go skateboard today? Like,
I do still.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying
Not
do
like
some
I
of the
used
stuff
to.
that you
No.
used to do. I remember you doing something on a rail. Like you could jump up on the rail and ride down it.
Yeah.
Would you do that today?
Sometimes I do it still.
Really?
Yeah.
You should tape yourself.
I do. I post it on Instagram sometimes.
I haven't watched one, so.
Jeremy just did a video of me grinding.
Oh, that's right. You know what? That's right. I have, let me tell you, memory loss is a legit thing as you get older and when you're bogged down with so much information up here. So it's legit. Yes, I do remember that now.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a skateboarder. Fact
Yeah, that's
number
a fact.
1. That's interesting. Number 2.
I don't know if it's been mentioned or not, but me and my wife are the youth directors at our church.
Oh, yes. That's a good one. Nope, you have not mentioned that.
So we lead the youth there and love it. And
impacting lives. Okay. So that let's talk about that just for a second. Get your third one. But tell me this. So being a youth director, did you always know that you were going to do something or another with youth?
Yeah.
Not necessarily in church, not necessarily just in youth in general.
Yeah, I knew it.
You did?
Yeah.
How'd you know?
I just knew. Because I always connect with that age group. And I was a crazy kid.
No.
I had my own little path that I ventured from the race family and did my own little things that were not so good sometimes and found my way back. So I think I can connect. I know I connect real well, especially with that, because I was going to hardcore shows and a little scene metal kid that skateboarded. So
right.
And that's usually broken kids. So I definitely connect with them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I always knew. I didn't know exactly what it would be. I didn't think it'd end up in church because I was not in church when in my 20s, but
Right.
I knew it was something with that.
Right.
So yeah.
Interesting. I knew too. I knew. You remember when I told you that somebody had said that about your life, that they see this for your life? Sister Morrow, remember that? I found it because you'd asked me when that was. I found it. It's 2002. Just an FYI. No, okay, number 3. So we know you're a skateboarder, you're a youth director, you and Alicia, youth directors. Fact number 3. Oh, that.
What?
Go ahead.
I'm trying to think what?
I'm not gonna fill in the blank for you.
I love to hunt.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
I thought you had something. That's why I was like, well, what are you thinking? But yeah, I love to hunt.
I'm not filling in the blank for you. This is raw. You said it's got to be raw. It's raw.
Big hunter. I love.
I don't get it, but okay.
I like bringing home my own meat and eating what I had harvested myself. So I'm big advocate for that.
I still have meat in my freezer from his hunt from last year. I don't eat it, but it's there.
Yeah, I got so much meat I didn't have room.
I know, and it's still in my freezer.
We just made deer chili the other day.
Yeah. I think that I've tasted deer meat.
Some of it, you just got to cook it right.
Yeah. It does have an unusual taste, though. Has a different taste, I think.
Well, like I said,
I agree with you, though. It's definitely clean meat.
Well, the thing is it just feels so much better knowing that you did it all yourself.
Kind of like building a business, right?
100, yeah.
Kind of like building a business.
You don't know. It's, to me, the sheer fact that everybody depends so much on walking to a grocery store and getting food themselves that way. Instead
of just...
Yeah, I get like
opening up that door and
easier.
Bringing it in.
and it's fine. I'm not saying like that's wrong because we still go to the grocery store. It's not like I'm saying that. I'm just saying that you're so dependent on it. That's the part where I'm...
Right. No, I get it.
We've lost that connection.
I get it.
Because we're so comfortable in America.
On our property, we would not have to go to the grocery store again except for, maybe.
Well, 100% if we.
You could have chickens. You could have cows. I'm
going down that path. I'm 100%.
Are we going to see chickens out in the yard? Just like.
I almost bought a bunch yesterday. I'm not even kidding.
Are you joking me right now?
No, I promise. I almost bought a bunch, but as a newbie getting into it, I figured it would be a little hard. It's winter.
Are you getting chickens that for eggs?
Yeah.
Is there a difference?
There's a difference.
So you're. Wait. So you're just gonna? Are you serious? I'm seriously asking this question.
Yes, I want.
Are you getting chickens strictly for the eggs?
Both.
Okay. What if you get attached to them? That would probably be a little hard, but anyway,
I don't think I'll get attached to chickens. That is a weird animal to get attached to.
I don't know. I don't know, but I don't know. All right. See, now that wasn't hard. So we know that we learned you're a skateboarder, that you are a youth director, and that you love to hunt.
I guess.
Oh, I have one more, which I want to get to something real quick, but I have one more. So this is just a funny thing. One of the ladies that I coach, I'm her business coach / life coach. And she had on one of our, meetings, she had mentioned that somebody had reached out to her and said, you know what I'm talking about. She had reached out to her and said, hey, do you know this new podcast that's out that's kind of like a reality show, but they're business owners, and it's a husband and a wife and a daughter. So that was just a fun fact I was going to say. People think you're my husband all the time, which when you first came onto the company, it was a little weird. Now we're just so used to it. So she said, that's Life Made Full, and that is her son, and that is her daughter. And she was like, oh my God, I love it. I love it. So it is kind of like a reality show, which might lead to other things. We'll see. Could you imagine walking around every day or, whenever with a camera on our life, or not a camera, whatever it's called. What's it called? Where you film?
That is
A camera. Okay. A camera. Can you imagine somebody following you? It would be you following us. Well, it couldn't be you because you'd be in it. I don't know how we do it, but could you imagine it? Like Alicia said, Doug's wife said, Dr. Phil literally would pay. He would literally pay to come film us.
Probably not anymore, but yeah, definitely in the early stages.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily anything other than it is funny watching us,
Oh, well, yeah, but I'm just saying
I crack up at us sometimes. I literally crack up. So for her to say it was kind of like a reality show, Brenda started, she said that she literally lost it and said, no, actually that's Life Made Full. All right. So icebreaker, just kind of open it up. So Doug, I'm going to read something to you. So we all know we've heard about Facebook changing so what I'm gathering, and then I know you said you don't know much about it. I don't know much about it, but I'm going to ask you your thoughts on something that I read, and you tell me what you think about it.
Yeah,
so we all know
what it is Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, go ahead.
Founder of Facebook.
Yep.
Rebranded his main company that has so Facebook, Instagram, and the WhatsApp app.
Right.
So it's those three companies that he owns, but he wanted it essentially like, the main company behind it is Meta.
It's Meta.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me kind of what you know. I know you said that's about what you know on it.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's got big plans for it, with the virtual world and things like that. But aside from that, no, I haven't. I mean, that's happened during my whole process with Limes and everything. So
very true.
I haven't been up to date. I've been playing catch up on with work and
which
around the house, so
which you got to go film
I'm a
something today.
On
So why I would like to kind of dive into this just a little bit is obviously for business, obviously what we're talking about here today, but the whole thing that got my wheel spinning is what you had said. You had said something. You had came in a coaching session with me a couple weeks back, and something you said, it's like got my wheels spinning. You were talking about how that technology from like the 70s to the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s.
Well, I was saying,
so kind of go into that, which will lead to where I'm going.
Well, I'm saying like from humankind, like the start of humankind to like the 1700s, there was very little innovation.
Right,
very little. And then you had a little bit here and there for, a couple more centuries, but it wasn't until, the early 1900s that there was electricity and, all these things around that era. I know I'm being very broad on the timing. And then once electricity hit, it started to gain some momentum, but it wasn't until, we had the 70s, which was around when they start, doing the computer.
In the 70s, the computer?
Yeah. Late 70s.
I didn't realize that.
It may have even been earlier. Like, I mean, we're talking very basic. Not
right.
Like
no,
MS,
I know that.
MS
I know.
DOS,
Yes.
like it's
yeah.
just numbers.
Right.
And then, 80s, they're getting the computer starting to get a little better. 90s. So it wasn't until the 90s now when we have Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, and the innovation
stepped on board.
Yeah, and the innovation has taken off. I mean,
right.
When you think about 90s and you had no one was connected, there's no social media.
Which
you had to go to the library to,
my gosh, I remember going to the library.
Well, you had to go to the library to get information. You had to, encyclopedias. You had to go to.
I forgot about that. Douglas.
The library to search archives and newspapers. You had to get the little paper and stick it on the thing.
I remember doing that.
And no one would have ever dreamed just in the 90s that something would be at your fingertips where you could have every answer to the world
Right.
at the drop of a
Which-
dime, or talk to anybody at the drop of a dime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, you can send a text from here to Japan in a second.
Right. Where do you remember when you first got your? I mean, not necessarily an iPhone, which I don't remember back then. That's been back.
Yeah, I do. I told you about that.
I know, but again, memory lapse.
Well, I'm saying, like, remember, because you didn't remember it being so early. You guys actually got me a phone pretty early because Dad just wanted me to have a phone. I was running around skateboarding at the skate park. You were, you'd take me and drop me off there.
Right.
And that was all the way in Richmond. So
It was the flip phone, right?
Yeah.
Was it the flip?
yeah, the smartphones weren't out yet. So
Okay.
I think I was.
So wait, that was 2000. We moved. Well, no, 2000 right around 2001. So right around 2001.
That would have been around it, 2001, 2002. It was like right when we moved there, pretty much. I had no one in the school. I was the first kid in the school that had a phone.
Oh.
Like, well, hands down. But yeah,
Okay,
I remember
okay.
it. It was a little flip phone.
It was
You had
blue
the
or
text with-
gray.
you
I
had the text with
remember it.
T9,
Yeah.
But you guys didn't even know what texting was.
Oh my gosh, wait a second. I remember saying this. It's very, very plain. I remember saying this. Chrissy was in the back seat. We were driving. I don't know. I don't think you were in the car, but I was driving. Chrissy was in the back seat. And she was like, we were contemplating up in our plan with the text message and more, whatever, because you had to add so much, whatever. Now it's it's unlimited. Back then it wasn't unlimited. I remember this very, very vivid. I remember thinking to myself, there is no way that the texting is going to ever work. No way. Like, why would you prefer to text someone versus calling them?
Yeah.
I remember telling her that, like, Chrissy, I don't understand. And that was like probably 2000, because I'm sure she got hers after you got yours. So maybe 2000, I mean, maybe 2000. She would
Hers
know.
wasn't very much longer. I know
Yeah.
that because it wasn't.
Hers was red. I think she was 13. I think Chrissy was 13. I think we got it for her 13th birthday, and she had a red one. But it might have been like 12. I don't know. But I'm pretty confident it was 13, right around there. Anyway, I remember thinking this and saying it out loud to her. There's no way. This whole texting thing it's crazy. It makes no sense to me. Why somebody you would rather text versus calling? It felt so foreign. And even which is going to bring me to what I want to talk about. Even today, though, still today, I still have this part of me that would rather call somebody versus texting.
I do for certain things, like my friends and stuff. But if it's other things, like, I'm weirded out. Like, why didn't you just text me?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess texting, for me, I think it's for a quick, if you need a quick, like, text somebody quick, but it's still, which is going to bring me to what I want to talk about, but I'm leading up to that because this is good. So that was the early 2000s.
Yeah, and essentially at that time, that was when the flip phone was starting to take off. Texting was new, and then that was when, mid 2000s. What was it? I forget the exact year, but when they introduced the iPhone.
And that's when everything changed.
I mean, he literally, that was the change of the world. The iPhone's change. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. It really is.
Uh-huh. All right. So let's talk about this, which I agree. I agree. So the early 2000s, so how fast you said the innovation, it was just like, it went like this from back the early 1900s to even 90s. I mean, there was technology in 90s, but not like.
No, I mean, think about the TVs. Think about like all that stuff.
Very true.
I mean, we went from these giant bulky TVs to these little thin things. Everything.
Yeah. All right. So how quick? So, which brings me to this. So we're leading up to the whole Meta thing. We know that Facebook. I know people were thinking that Facebook was actually changing its name to Meta. That's not true. Facebook is still staying Facebook. So I thought this was a very interesting take on this. So let me read this. I can't even pronounce his name. Shane Pure. I don't know.
Shane Puri.
Yeah. All right.
Puri?
This was kind of his take, and so tell me what you think about this. He said, he's talking about, he said, hot take, everyone is wrong about metaverse. And he said, here's my 3-part theory on it, which I thought it was kind of interesting. He said, part 1, I'm not going to read it all. Part 1, he said, everyone's wrong, right? He said, most people think that the metaverse is a virtual place. That's where most people think like it's this virtual place, like a virtual world, like Minecraft Roadblocks or something else, I can't pronounce it. But this is what he said. But what if it's not a place? What if it's not a place? It's a time. And this is what he's talking about. He said, yes, moments in time. And so when I started reading this and started really digesting what he was saying, I thought, this is where it's going. And this was what he was talking about. Now listen to this, Douglas. He's talking about a moment in time where basically, this moment in time becomes smarter than human intelligence. So think about this. So that's what he's talking about. He's thinking about artificial intelligence versus human intelligence. And so you really think about that it says the metaverse is the moment in time where our digital life is worth more to us than our physical life. Think about that. Where it's worth more, our digital life is worth more than our physical life. And that's what he was talking about. He said this is not an overnight change or an invention by some Steve Jobs type. It's a gradual change that's been happening for 20 years. Every important part of life is going digital. Think about that. That's true. Would you agree with that? Every important part. Yeah. He said work is going from factories to laptops. Boardrooms are going to Zoom rooms. How true is that? COVID taught us that, right? COVID taught us like everybody's in Zoom now. It's all about, I had never, honestly, up until 2020, I had never really gone on Zoom. I knew about Zoom, but I didn't know. And now everything's going, it's like he said, factories to laptops because everybody's working from home now, right? Boardrooms to Zoom rooms. This is what actually, think about this one. He says this, friends from neighbors to followers. Think about that. Neighbors, think about that. Friends, so we're trading friends. And so now we're thinking about friends as our followers. Like we're going from neighbors to followers. How many followers can I get? How many likes can I get? So, I mean, was just so, I don't know, profound to me. It says games. More kids play Fortnite than basketball and football combined. True? Is that true? Think about these things. Identity filters are now the new makeup. Very true. Mm-hmm. You ever see, you see somebody on, let's say on Instagram or wherever, and you see them and then you really see them in person. You're like, whoa, that don't even look like the same person. So filters are now the new makeup, and stories are your personal billboard to broadcast who you are, what you look like in real life. I mean, so it goes on and on. Everything goes digital, your friends, your job, your identity. And now, which this might get your interest, and now with the crypto, your assets are online too. So think about that. Mm-hmm. And it goes on. So what's your thoughts on that? And then this is what he said. So if you play this forward another 10 to 20 years, think about all I just said and play that forward another 10 to 20 years, and you think about Meta. What do you think? I mean, think about, seriously. The moment in time where digital matters more to us than physical. It says our attention used to be 99% on our physical environment. TV dropped that to 85%. Computers dropped it down to 70%. Phones dropped it to 50%. You get the point of it. And it goes on. So what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, to me, it's kind of scary, but
it is. I mean, that's, and
but
so,
I mean, it's inevitable.
which brings me to what, let's circle back to how I opened this. You were you had joined me in a coaching group call with some business owners, and you were actually talking about social media marketing, because that's a fun fact about you too that some might not know. That you actually do marketing for, I don't know, however many business owners. Like, you are their whole marketer. You like do all of their things for them. So, and you were talking about that how fast the innovation, it's just like bam, bam. It's like moving so fast now. And so I had asked you, where do you think, like, we were talking about Google and how Google is like so dominant for business owners. And if you're not on Google, you're going to be smoked. I cannot stress that enough to any business owner, that if you do not have an online presence on Google, you are going to be smoked. And that does need to sink in. And as much as, going against the grain as I was about this whole, back when you came on board, and you really opened my eyes up on that whole part of it, because your business will plateau out. People say, oh, I got enough work. I hear this so much. I hear this. They'll say, when I talk about their Google presence, or I talk about getting on Google and reviews, and so many things go into that. A lot of times this is what they say. I have enough work now. I'm turning down work. I don't need to be on Google. I don't need a website. These things are just, I can't even, they're a necessity. For one, you have to. And for two, it's not even a matter of being, you're already turning down work. That's actually not why Google is so dominant. You know what I'm saying on that? So, and this is what I tell them. You can be turning down work, but I'm going to tell you, are going to come to a place in your business where you will plateau, because word of mouth will only take you so far. It will only take you so far, which that for me was obviously all those years back. I had plateaued out, and I couldn't understand this whole plateau. I didn't understand it. And then obviously that's back then. That was Angie's List. Google back before Google was what it was actually, for me, Google, like Angie's List, was what Google is today. Right?
Kind of.
For me, it was.
In your eyes, it was. But, people from my age group, we think different. So we immediately knew that, like...
Well, back then, though, Douglas, Google wasn't as dominant as it was today.
It's still dominant.
But what happened? So which...
You weren't on it.
Well, very true. But I did get on it. But okay, so which true? Because what happened with the Angie's List is I plateaued out, because every level in our business that we go to requires us to do something different at every stage. Right around 250,000 is when, I start. I'll just put it out there. When I started plateauing out, 250,000, it was like word of mouth, whatever year, however long ago that was. I started, plateauing out around 250,000 in revenue. And then that's when Angie's List came on board. And Angie's List actually is what drove us to the $500,000 mark, right? And then it was Google. So that's where I was going with Google, because Google, so all those years ago, back when we got first put on Google, and now where we're at today, it's which Google absolutely 100% was the driving force that drove our revenue up to where it is today. So tell me your thoughts on what all I just said, that whole mouthful that I just.
I just think. Google,
where do you see it going? Like, after reading that, where do you see Google going? Because I asked you that before, and you're
Google,
like,
I said voice.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Yeah, it's that's what's going to happen. A lot of people.
That's true.
That's where it's at. That's where it's going. When you think about all the technology that's in people's homes now, you're not into it yet because you don't like the microphones in your house. But
I don't. I think it's an invasion of privacy.
But they already have it. Your phone's glued to your hip. It's
That's
glued to
very true.
everybody's hip.
That, I
if
mean, you
anybody
are right
denies
on that. You are right. You are right.
Most people will say, "Oh, well, it's no." Your phone picks up everything you say.
I know that is kind of creepy if you think about it, because I guarantee you what we're talking about right now. I guarantee you
It'll be ads on your
one of us will have an ad, either Facebook, Instagram, something
on whatever we talk about.
Well,
It's
what we talk
inevitable,
about.
100%. But
Yes.
the thing is, like, so now you have all these companies like, your thermostats and your refrigerators, all this stuff. You can literally just, and then it all links to either your iPhone, or it links to Google Voice, the Google, what is it?
I don't know.
I can't think of what it
It'll
is.
come back.
But then there's Alexa, which is the Amazon one.
Mm-hmm.
So you have all these that link to it, so you can just say, "Hey Alexa, turn my temperature up," or "Hey Alexa, play a song," or "Hey Alexa, I'm running low on, laundry detergent, so order me some laundry detergent."
That is insanity. You think that's going to come?
It's already here. Just not a lot of people are doing it.
You mean you can actually say, "Hey Alexa, order me some laundry soap"?
Have you not seen the fridges that when you are low on pop, it orders it for you?
No.
Yeah, there's already fridges that do it. Like, so when you're low on something, it's connected to your Amazon account, and then
You're kidding me. I mean,
No.
I mean, obviously, I know that there are refrigerators that keeps your running list of, your groceries and what you're out of.
There's
You're
ones
kidding
that
me.
see how much pop you have or whatever you have,
And they
it
just orders
it automatically for you.
And do they have it like delivered to your house, like
Yeah.
through like Amazon Prime?
Yeah,
stuff?
through
I
Prime.
mean, I do like Amazon Prime. I'm not gonna lie. we
That stuff's
we have
already
Amazon
here.
Prime just about every day at our house, don't we?
But you think about people, how dumb things were back then, that people would think, like, the iPhone, like you said, text messaging is never going to take off.
That's what I was just sitting here thinking.
Google Voice.
Am I going to be having the
it's
same
never gonna take
conversation
off.
10 years from now, 20 years from now, thinking,
Yes, you are. You want to know why? Because of our kids. Because of like Lexus and Justice.
yes, good Lord.
They're always telling their iPad to do something because, especially when they were younger and they didn't know how to spell.
Okay, so let's talk about this then, because, all right, so growing up for you, so your kids, my grandkids, are not going to know basically what it's like to pick up the phone, have a conversation, building those relationships on the phone. So do you think that it's going to, like, they might just be building in this whole time? What if like meta is time? Think about that.
I mean, it's possible.
And like you said, that is very scary. I don't think I would want my refrigerator making orders for me.
Well, no, you wouldn't, because you have to figure out if it's in the budget or not.
Hey, that's very true. But I got big things. We're going to be starting our cabin build in January. Don't.
Yeah, but filling up the gas tank versus only putting $10.
That's
in here
not
and there.
true. That is. He is. I tell you, y'all are going to figure out. He exaggerates. I fill my gas tank up.
There's no difference. It goes the same amount.
Well, I mean.
Besides, maybe right now with the gas prices.
Well,
but
that's very true. That's a whole different topic.
Might be trying to hold out for them to go down.
That's a whole another topic. All right. So I want to go back to that. All right. So what would you tell, which I know you talk to a lot of business owners as well. What would you tell somebody that, let's say it's a new business that's just starting up and let's say, maybe it's not in our industry, because I believe that business is universal. I don't think that it's, the marketing aspect of it, the Google part of it, I think that's just business.
For the most part, yeah.
Right.
For the most part.
So let's say that you have somebody, a business owner that is in front of you, and they say, okay, Doug, give me like some tips. They're starting up. If I have a marketing budget of this amount, where should I put that, and what should I focus on first? I know what I would say.
Well, it just depends on what their capabilities are. I mean, obviously, you want to make sure you're present on all platforms, and then I don't know. Like, if it's a new startup, though, because I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say like AdWords, things like that.
Nope, that's actually not what I was gonna say.
Oh, well.
I was actually going to say, number one, they got to have a website. If they have this amount of money in like their marketing budget,
they can afford it. Yeah.
I absolutely think that a website is 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think that a website should be number one. Number one thing that you do is get a website. Now, whether or not, and I don't know how you feel about this, but but for me, when we first got our website, and we've obviously rebranded and to what our website is today, which I have an amazing website designer. She's phenomenal. She has watched me grow through the years. So, when I first got my website years ago, it was not anything special at all, but it was a website, right? Yeah. It was a website. So number one thing is if you have X amount for marketing, because website, it is marketing. It's your online presence, which you talk a lot about. It all ties in with your online presence. So number one is you got to have a website, especially going into 22. I've been saying 22 because saying 2022 gets me all tongue tied, especially going into 22.
Go ahead. I would backtrack a little bit though. I wouldn't say that's your first thing is a good logo. Like you have to have a good logo.
Well, yes. I agree with you. You 100%.
And that's marketing. That's, that's
okay.
essentially you're branding yourself.
I agree with that.
Logo.
100%. I agree with that.
But
I agree with that. But a logo,
Mom, you can get on an awesome website, and if it has a bad logo,
that's not where I was going.
No.
That's not where I was going. I was going to say, as far as like the marketing part, website, your logo is coming in like, putting like when you first start out and say, okay, I'm going to have a business, I'm going to open this business, and then you got to get this vision for a logo. But like the marketing aspect of it. But I do agree with you. I'm not saying you're wrong on that.
I was going to say, because a lot like people just throw them together.
Website, logo. Those
logo
probably.
And then website.
We can agree to disagree.
Dude,
but
you have to have a good logo.
I agree with you on that, but you also have to have a website. So I think let's just say
they go hand in hand.
That's what I was about to say. Let's just say they go hand in hand.
But logo first.
Hand in hand.
Put a bad logo
which by the way, I'm still waiting on my logo.
For the yeah,
I'm still waiting on it. It's big crickets. I'm waiting. All right, because he is amazing at logos. All right, so website and logo go hand in hand. Number two, like give somebody some advice if they're just a startup.
I would just get on every platform, post as much as possible. It's free. Like that stuff's free. Mm-hmm. Just post as much as possible. Get on anything you can, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all this stuff. Even if, some industries it works, some industries it doesn't, but TikTok, I mean, nowadays it seems like it can work for any industry actually, as long as you put together
what's your thoughts on TikTok?
I mean, I'm
not trying to I'm just asking you what your thoughts are on TikTok. Do you think I need to be on TikTok?
I don't really have any. I don't have that.
You think I would have too much fun? I would.
I mean, people spend days on it, literally.
I know. You can go down this whole rabbit hole. Okay, I just got introduced to Reels.
Yeah, Instagram's done the same thing. So
I literally just got introduced to Reels like 3 weeks ago, and maybe 4 weeks ago. As far as I've heard of them. Don't get me wrong, but I call it a time waster. Like when you just don't want your brain to work any at all. Like you literally do not want your brain to work. Just go get on some Reels and you're going to go down this whole rabbit hole. I'm always sending them stuff now. So anyway, I think TikTok, I don't know.
But yeah, those things are all free. Start a blog, start writing, just things about whatever tips or whatever for your industry.
Mm-hmm.
Those are, like I said, that's all free stuff. And then if you're wanting to start adding, more budget stuff, that would be like your AdWords for Google, things like that. Make sure that your website was designed correctly to help drive up your SEO, and
because a lot of the back office stuff of your website has got to be in sync, correct?
Yeah, because Google crawls your page. That's what it's they're essentially like spiders.
This terminology, it crawl.
So if all your backlinks are,
Which we have, what do we use? We use something. What's it called? That crawls our webpage. All like,
well, Google does it, but then we have
what is that called?
A program. It's called SEM Rush.
That's right. So I call it SEMrush.
Yeah, SEM Rush, and that crawls
So
our page.
we've had that about what, 2 years, maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, and it just tells you what the status of your website is, and if there's any broken links or the coding's too much, like things like that. Your website needs to be as simple as possible, but still obviously good.
Right.
And that's what drives up the SEO.
Which all of that stuff, I know enough to know enough. That's why I bring him in a lot of times to talk about all that stuff, because I know enough, just enough. So, all right, website logo hand in hand. Obviously getting on Google. All right, so that's it, because a lot of people don't know how to get on Google. So I know you have walked business owners through that. Is it, I don't want you to go into too much because I know we got for sake of time, but is it easy to get on Google? Or is it hard? So let's say somebody is not tech savvy. They don't have any technology, whatever at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy.
Do you think I could get on Google?
Yeah, I know you could. You just would not want to. So you'd say you couldn't and then call me up.
And that's so true. I was just saying because I am not tech savvy at all. So if I can do it,
search like
anybody can do it.
Google Business, or it's business.google.com is what you go to, and then
I know you got to get verified and all this other
your
stuff.
Business a Gmail email, and then get started. And
okay, all right. So that's
sometimes your business will actually already be listed on there. Just because somebody will go in and leave you a review.
Oh yeah.
For a new business.
Excuse
me, but. So if your business is already listed, then you claim that business.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, it's easy.
So getting a presence on Google is vital. And
all platforms.
Yes, because I know it all links together somehow or another, and out in this, the internet world, because it's all like out there. How it all links together is beyond my comprehend. I can't comprehend that. But anyway, all right. So website logo. Get a Google online presence. I think going into 22, I think that with this whole meta thing coming, whatever that means, whatever your take is on it, I believe that if you do not stay relevant, if you do not stay up to speed, you're going to be left behind. And then you're going to be looking back saying, what happened? Well, it's because you didn't keep up. So we can either stay stuck, or we can choose to get on with it and just leave here's what I always say too, leave your competitors scratching their head, right? And you got to start viewing yourself like this. I always say this. We are the competition, right? We are the competition. People are looking at us. And that's actual true. I had a conversation with somebody probably 3 years ago. And this is, she said, Micah, and this was another cleaning business owner. And actually in our area that, her and I are friends. We went to lunch. We've gone to lunch together. But anyway, she's like me. And she said this, she said, Micah, I don't think you realize. She said, I have actually people calling me wondering who you are and your business, because you are their competition. Like, they're trying to figure you guys out. They'll never be able to figure us out. You want to know why? I always tell him he's our secret weapon. I tell you that all the time, don't I? Like, you are our secret weapon in our cleaning business, in my coaching business, in Life Made Full, this podcast, anything. It's all Doug. We just show up and we just show up. Christy and I just show up. He gets everything going. He does all the other stuff. We just show up. So, which next, I don't know, maybe next when Christy will be here, I don't know. If not, it'll just be you and I.
Yep.
All right. So tell me this. I don't know. I don't know if we'll wrap it up or not. I said, every time I say I have I have some thoughts rolling, rambling around up here. So leave us with this. So because I want to bring that right back to that, because I kind of left that dangling a little bit about the technology part with the kids and stuff. So how can you, being a father of 2 young boys, what are you going to do to help them still stay connected in this whole virtual place? As far as staying connected outside of it, how are you going to help them stay connected?
I mean, we go camping a lot. I mean, I don't let them. It's not really an option for them to just sit on a computer all day. I mean, they play sports. They go outside and play football. They've got a good happy medium, but I still make them also have. Well, I don't make them. I encourage them to have get started early on electronics too. I mean,
you do.
I encourage Justice. My son, he's 10. He streams on Twitch, playing Fortnite.
I know he was telling somebody the other day. I heard him. I think it was Bentley maybe or Lexi, that he streamed for an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I said I don't even know what does that mean, Justice? I don't know what that means.
I made him well. That's where people watch you play.
Gotcha.
So like I'm trying to get him started early, and I created him a logo, and because that's his passion right now. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of professional streamers that make a lot of money, millions of dollars. So,
okay.
And if that's his end goal in life is to be a streamer, then he loves it now. So why not just encourage it instead of trying to force him away from it, because it's going that way anyways. But as long as he's still playing sports and still going outside, having friends.
Yep. Which just brought me to something. It's funny you said that, because this brought me to this principal had sent home a letter to all the parents. And kids were about to go into exams, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was encouraged, because you just said you encourage, and because maybe this is going to be his lane. It very may well could be. And this is what he was saying. He said, going into the exams, the kids have, they already have all this anxiety. They're anxious. They're, worrying. What if they, get a bad grade, yada, 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 the ramifications of possibly, coming home, what the parents are going to say. And this is what he said. I loved it. He was telling the parents to remember that there is an artist that might not understand math. Think about that. There's an artist that maybe that artist, maybe he's 10 and he's taken a math quiz and he don't understand it. But yet he's an artist. Maybe there's an artist that doesn't understand math. There is an entrepreneur who doesn't care about history or English literature. Think about that. There is a musician whose chemistry marks won't matter. There's an athlete whose physical fitness is more important than physics. So that it just goes back to, it says, please don't take away their self-confidence and their self-dignity if they get a bad grade. Because like you just said, maybe that is going to be his thing. Maybe it is. And I love the part where he said, there's an entrepreneur sitting there that they're an entrepreneur. And I know the world really and truly in school in general is not equipped for entrepreneurs. It's just not. Do you agree with that? It's just, it's not an entrepreneur. We are over here in our whole world over here.
Like I said, for entrepreneurs, you either have it or you don't.
You do 100%. 100%.
It's like I always go back to what Gary Vee said. Gary Vee was at a seminar.
Yeah.
That was a how to do business, basically, how to be an entrepreneur. That was the seminar.
Well, that's a big indicator that you're not.
Yeah, he walked up on the stage and he said, most of the people that are sitting here, if you're sitting in here trying to learn how to be an entrepreneur, you're not an entrepreneur.
Yep, amen.
And started the seminar that way, basically telling everybody to walk out. because it's pointless.
That's right. Because I wholeheartedly, now I don't have any facts or anything to back this up, but I have always believed it. Either you're born an entrepreneur or you're not. It's either in your DNA or it's not. It's just there. It's something inside of you. There's just this grit, this determination that's down inside of you that you are going somewhere and you are going to leave a mark on this world. You're going to leave an impact. You are going to leave your fingerprints all over. You're going to.
To me, it's they're hustlers. That's what I always call it. You're hustling. If you're a hustler, you're a hustler. I mean, I remember in school, that's all I used to do. It's hustle in school. I'd sell candy bars, and I'd literally pack my backpack full of Hershey candy bars, and you'd buy them for like 50 cents then.
Yeah, and you'd sell them for
$1.
$1.
Yeah, which at that time I was younger. I didn't understand copyrights and that it was necessarily illegal. But I used to make CDs because you used to burn them.
Oh yeah, there's what is that called? There's a word for that.
The copyright.
Okay.
But yeah, I was making CDs and burning them, and then I would sell them for like $3, $5 or something, and they weren't that much. But I got in trouble for that. I think I got suspended actually.
I don't remember that.
Not like that, but I didn't really understand copyrights.
Well, of course not. No, of course not.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I was doing. You're either a hustler or you're not.
And we'll close on
Always
that.
Trying to make some money.
Always. And that's why I say, going into 22, I was on in a coaching group last night. I have a lot of coaching groups, and we were talking about that very thing, going into 22, if you're going to go into 22 running, you better start out running hard, because it's going to set the pace for you. It's going to set the whole tone for your 22. And also, you got to get a game plan down. You got to be very, very diligent. You got to, I always say this, break it into quarters. My whole year goals, I break it into quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Quarter 4, though, quarter 4, this quarter for me, this quarter 4, 21, man, I ran hard 1, 2, and 3, to where quarter 4, I've been kind of like, oh, not, I won't say coasting, but I've been like, oh, this is kind of nice. Yeah. I ran hard for 3 quarters, and now I can kind of like, but, so going into 22, I've been preparing, and challenging, my business owners that I coach. I've been challenging them to sit down and start thinking now what you want 22 to look like and where are you going to go. The first thing you got to start with is you got to start with a map. Whenever you go out somewhere, you're going on these big adventures that you go on, you know where you're going, right? You kind of like, you have,
for the most part, but that's the fun of it. Sometimes we don't want to know where we're going, but yeah,
but you have
a final destination.
That's correct. What I'm saying. You know where your end is. Yeah. You know where you want to end up. Right. And so that's how you have to be in your business and in your life. We talk so much about business goals, but there's life goals as well. And you can get so consumed with your business goals that you totally put your life goals aside. Which I have been I'm like flipped, like on that one. My life goals always come first, and then my business goals, because I believe that if you have a healthy life, then you're going to have a healthy business, because your life is your business. You're the head of your business. So if your life is crazy and you're a mess and you're just all scattered, hot mess, then chances are your business is going to be scattered and a hot mess. So I always start with my life goals always first, and then my business goals. So you got to have an end place. So start 22 with a map of where you want to end in 22. So I'm going to close with that. Any final thoughts? Been good. So next one, hopefully Christy will be back. If not, it'll just be you and I. Okay.
It'll work.
All right. Till next time. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.